Alrighty. It's been a while since I did this, maybe about a week or so, probably because I just haven't even taken any trades. It's been a bit of a tough time. Just like opportunities at all-time highs have been like strange for me to get used to. And then on top of it, it's just on top of everything else, how the life, is busy. So when opportunities seem scarce, you don't have as much time to look, so that's why. Anyways, this is today's price action. These are the trades. And let's break down into it. So before we get started, I just wanted to say like, okay, so Asia just opened up right here. So you can disqualify any of that because that's Asia. So it ended today, ended right here. Now we had SMT at London low. This is supposed to be SMT. But I just wanted to take your attention to this is the new day opening, the new day first presented fair value gap, right after 6 a.m. And it was used very interestingly today. I like this. I like this first presented fair value gap a lot. A lot of times it comes very nicely. And just look how it's pretty much the equilibrium part of like today's price action of New York price action, and like look how much it gets respected. Gets broken under, and that's it. Goes to first presented. It's just something to take note of. I've seen this thing be around like down here, the 9 and 10 o'clock price action to get used nicely. It's just nice. All right. So, anyways, we had London. I mean, what am I saying? Midnight open right here. Yesterday we had FOMC, which is this business in here. Boom, boom, boom. Now we're at all-time highs, so every retracement down is just buying opportunities to go higher. So naturally, I took standard deviations off of, basically this low of the week actually, because we had SMT down here with the I just had the contract rollover, so like the chart's like naked as heck, but let me just bring you over to maybe something like this or something. So yeah, FOMC right here. Taking out the weekly low, the low of the week, the open of the week is right here, open of the week right here, open of the week right here. And then basically we had SMT because Dow didn't take out, you know, Tuesday's low. So this is where the SMT is at down here at the FOMC. Announcement low. Oh, this was a nice long in here actually. I took it on demo because my account was not. My orders were getting canceled yesterday. I have no idea why, but today they're working. All right. Anyways, let's focus up. So I took standard deviations off of this first like breaker I could find, which brought us up to two up to here. So I had that drawn out. Then we had the midnight open manipulation right here, midnight. I just drew standard deviations off of this swing. Yeah, two and a half right here, which got hit today. Two and a half got hit to the tick. That was the high of the day. And then we had then the nine, the equities open breakdown, which let's go into the 1 minute chart and see the business. So basically, we're just keep on pumping up to all-time high. So obviously, like the draw is upwards. The question is when. Now, what ended up happening was we made the high of the days at 8:30. We had S&T up here, I think. We had something up here. Yeah, we did. Oh, what the heck? What is going on? I don't know what the heck that. What the hell is that? What? I don't know what that was about. Where are we here? Okay, so as you can see, we had S&T like at London high. Um, this is annoying. Because wait, what am I doing? 8:30 high. We had S&T at London high. Can't you see? All right, and then we pump up one time again, the 8:30 news, and then this was 8:30 news today, and then we just dive. Now, so the high of the day for Nasdaq is up here. You know what I'm saying? 8:30 news driver, and then basically we get equities open right here. We have a big RTH gap lower, and then everything ran down. So this is London low. The other two assets took London low, and Nasdaq didn't. So we then created SMT down here, underneath midnight open, retagging that. And honestly, I was not sure what the heck to do, only because of just basically a video that ICT showed yesterday, which basically the same thing happened today, where we had 9:30 first presented breakdown. It come back up and tag us at OTE, and the RTH gap is not even CE's touched, so I knew this was not smart, but I basically like took this trade just to as like alert like I took this trade to like see if that logic would play out again, knowing that it was, you know, not knowing that anything could happen basically. You never take trades based on like let's see what happens. It's always about like you have the data and the experience behind that thing and then you take it. Which was more of this trade, honestly. Long. But anyways, um so we took the short reaction, we took a short kind of low, and then we spiked up. I took a did another added another contract, so we had two, and stop was right above first presented. Because if you go over to look at this, I just want to show you M and U from yesterday. It was on the other contract. We just switched over today. Let me show you the logic right over here. It's literally the same exact kind of thing. 9:30, except for the RTH gap was in a different spot. But 9:30 spikes up, and then we run down, and then we trace back into the first presented, and then we just continue to roll over. Now I was thinking that okay, and then ICT did a video on that as well about that exact thing and like why the logic was there, and like why you know And so I was like, okay, like normally in my in my analysis, like I don't know what the hell's gonna happen there yesterday. But then he did that, I was like, all right. So then seeing like potentially the same thing happen, and it also left like the equal lows which here, which happened yesterday as well. We left equal lows, even though there was SMT at these equal lows on the yesterday's example. It did it again here, and I was like, well, there is SMT, but based on this video, we generate equal lows, and then OT or trace up the first presented. Okay, and I could run down to hit here and fill more of the gap. Um, Even though knowing that like something was up and like this was just like a trade that shouldn't have been a live trade, basically. You don't take live trades when you're like back testing in a sense. So okay, we got stopped out fine. Then okay, we get stopped out above the first presented. I just immediately go long. So like, all right, I know the low's in. Where do you put your stop at this point? It was a little bit large for me because you're getting in like right here, and I put it under here, and I was like, I don't like that. So where am I gonna move this thing up to? This should be a breakaway gap. We're expecting C of this. This is like, you could say this is balanced in here, because look at these candles going up. This should be a breakaway gap. It should be. Like, why would it not be? You know what I'm saying? And it's also like this was a beautiful unicorn right here. Like, beautiful. I'm going to get rid of this one. This is a 1 minute unicorn. The breaker, fair value gap, trade back into it inside the macro. And then, obviously, we're standard deviation to bring us up to like the current high of the day, which also happened to be the midnight open. Oh no, up here is midnight open. So I basically took that trade and I was aiming for up here. So I took off a partial here. So this covered my this one partial off covered like the silly loss in here. So basically I break even for the day, and stops move to break even. So basically now at this point it's like okay, we either run for like our target and make some money, or we get stopped at break even and we just stay break even for the day. And I was really just counting on like these standard deviations all over the place. I used this one because it was two of the FOMC manipulation, and it was underneath four of the midnight open of today, and then it was four of that one of today's thing right here, the unicorn trade. This one, boom, up here. So I set my second partial right here. As you can see, we never got hit. We tried to. It came down, ran up one more time. Then this was the high of the day, which ended up being 2.5 of the midnight open. And nothing really of the FMC, but that's okay. Um, but look how I just want to look how interesting this is. So basically, it starts engineering like lows in here. We come down. This is like the current high. So SMT, SMT. Then we have the lunch macro. Should have known. Okay, I was thinking about it. Running against like 10 a.m. liquidity. Here's like 10 a.m. liquidity. It runs against it. Not the low of 10 a.m., but runs against it. Other assets ran a little bit lower. Then this is basically like the last chance because we have okay, the macro comes in. We have SMT right here, and it's hitting that new day first presented. See, look at that beautiful inspection. My stop, like break even stop, was like pretty close. It was like down right here, as you can see. Okay, and then so we get that boom. Okay, so basically in my mind, it was like that was our last chance. Boom, it runs down. This is a 15-minute. Now, granted, I'm like working the whole day. I'm not like sitting on my computer like analyzing this shit like as with free time. I'm literally working and checking the stuff on my phone. Sometimes coming in for like a lunch break, but usually not. So basically, so that was that. Boom. S&P. Then we run up 15-minute BPR in here. So when we're up here, basically I'm like, okay, we should really respect this 15-minute BPR. We should not. Ideally you want to stay above like the midpoint. But if we get a if we get a close underneath it, like if we start running lower, that's not gonna work out. So what ended up happening, I was watching this. We opened up below CE, and I was like, that's not good. And then that's the big massive down. This is lunch low right here. Look how it came back down and ticked new day opening gap again. And lunch low didn't get any SMT. All assets respected lunch low, and then we just kind of flop around during PM, and then roll over. So ideally, what I should have done was probably should have put it. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know where the heck I would have moved my stop. Like on the 15-minute, I want to see this be respected. Um, I can't say where I really should have put my stop. I was really just holding out for the day. But as soon as we broke down underneath the 15-minute, um, probably should have just like really aggressively trailed my stop. But it's all right because look at this. We look at this 2 o'clock macro. We didn't purge the lunch lows. If we had SMT there, that would have been a beautiful long. It probably would have added a contract, but because we didn't take it, I didn't. And I look at the thing here is we're engineering liquidity now at the lows. It becomes obvious even on my phone. Like I was like, well, I'm still holding this trade, but look how we're engineering, 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 engineering. We can't get above 130. Like look how we finally we tap into 130, the midpoint of that 50-minute BPR. We just cannot. And then we create a 15-minute SMT inside the 3 o'clock macro. This would have been the short to take. Flip right here. Use the PM session for presented or use like the breaker, with the standard deviation projections, aiming for like the equal lows. And then the second partial would be for today's AM first presented or these like standard deviations, whatever you want to take it. See, that would have been the thing, but I didn't really notice like all that because I'm working in the shop and stuff, on my phone. That would have been the beautiful like short to take. Ideally, if I was like kind of had a little more common sense, I normally don't aim for like big standard deviations like this, but at all-time highs, I don't really know what to do. So I was just like stacking standard deviations. I'm like, all right, let's just go up to here. But ideally, if this was normally me, I would have definitely probably taken both off above here. And then when we got this SMT here, we start to get into lunch macro. I'd have used somewhere in here to go short to aim for like liquidity down in here. The fact that that was then we like run up, and then I would like to think that I definitely would have went short in here for sure because this becomes super obvious all this liquidity. And look how this can get used. Today's first presented this one, tap tap. As soon as we get underneath it, we roll over, boom boom. It's like it was really used nicely today. This thing. Um, Now we're in Asia. So tomorrow, I actually don't know. I could see it being a Thursday reversal profile. We kind of like based on this high, we already hit like TGIF like retracement. So I don't know honestly. Maybe we just keep on blasting because this we do all-time highs, right? All right. Oh yeah. So the trade, I took this and then ran the other one down to break even, and then I just went stupid and just took a quick like long after like the 350 macro to like end a little bit red on the day, like $40 red on the day. And that was that. I could have managed this day a lot better. Not did a stupid thing. Um, waited for the confirmation to go long. So this would have been the first trade, partial above here, obviously. And it's been really aggressive with my second partial. And it would have been a lot more green, but hey, it is what it is. Pretty much break even today. We learn and we use that experience to move on the next time.